Name is Muhammad Ghazi bin Zainal Abidin. I'm 36 years old this year, I'm turning 36. And I've been coaching more than 10 years if I'm not mistaken. Well, I think it's a prototypical storyline for a Malay dude to play football first. That was my first sport, I guess. I played football since I was like 10 until like 12, but it was quite competitive, and then I stopped playing because I was lazy, straight up. And then when I turned 13, I got kicked out of the team. I was supposed to represent KL when I was 12. I didn't get to it. And then it happens at that time, the anime Slam Dunk came out. So I started like watching it, and then I was like, wait a minute, I could do this. So that made me want to do more basketball. So I started learning how to play the game, watching it, and then Sakuragi is such an iconic personality, and yeah, that's how it started. Okay. Oh, that's a good one. Well, because my school wasn't known for having a basketball team, and we always wanted a team. So I kind of like approached the principal and tried to get a team, even though we don't have a court. So what we do normally, we just go on like find courts around anywhere, because it was hard, right? So we go to like places to play, and then like nobody guided us. So whenever we go somewhere, we try to watch anime and copy it, even though it's not the same. So me and my other friend Zarif, we always go out to like, shout out to Zarif, like we always go out to like places, and then like there are a bunch of people who teaches us how, okay, this is how you shoot, okay, this is how, so every method keep changing. You don't really know the exact method how to do it, but as we see the ball go in, or we see other people do things, we try to copy it. So from there, it kind of sparked the fire in me to like go and like become more curious. So I keep on asking questions whenever I play against this guy, that guy, and then to the point that I kind of like travel whole KL, Klang Valley area to go play everywhere. So I get to know a lot of people. So even though that guy is a state player or whatever player, I don't really care. I look at him, he's good, I'll just go and ask him, and how do I do this? So that kind of like made me realize like, man, basketball is a huge topic that I want to learn, and so many things to explore. So that kind of started the whole thing. In high school, we managed to have a team. I played for a couple of years since I was there. We started having a team, and I was like, I think it was 14 years old, to be honest. We formed two in public school. And I keep on playing until I graduate, which is 17, which is Form 5. It wasn't really a good team. We never had any guidance. Our PE teacher basically just know, alright, you want to send a team, let's go send. So we're like a bonus stage, right? The team is kind of like a bonus stage. They know us on the list, okay, easy win. So, and then from there, you just play, you don't really care at that point. You just want to have a chance to like, do whatever that you see in anime, because it's such an inspirational show. And then when I go to university, me and my mom, we didn't know like what course do I like to do. So I did as much as I was growing as a player, because when I turned 18, I started playing what we call NCBL, which is a community league, which apparently is non-Chinese. I know it sounds very wrong, but yeah, that's how it's done, because the Chinese community is so good. I guess we can look at it that way. And I get to play at that level. So when I was supposed to go to uni, like I didn't know where to go. So I went to University of Kuala Lumpur. It's a Malaysian Institute of Marine Engineering Technology. So my course there, I studied like basically like oceanic things, right? Like design ships. So when I went there, I was the first one on campus. They didn't have a team because I was the first one. When I got there for the first day, the court wasn't even finished, but I'm glad they had one. So that kind of like took away a bit of like all this university experience, where I had to go there and just shoot on my own. And then as always, when I'm about to graduate, they kind of like gravitate to them to see, oh wait a minute, we can actually make a team. And UniKL started their own league and stuff. I didn't even play that one, so it's a very messed up situation. But the only opportunity that I had other than high school was playing an open league when I was 18 years old, and that's quite a bit. I guess it's a good experience, but a lot of people, make you feel like you're some superstar, 18-year-old kid, like, getting to play a big stage, getting to play against state players, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, that was my first experience of playing basketball, I guess we'd say competitively. Yeah. I mean, as much as it sounds really cool, I wouldn't want to say like Basically that I work really hard. Well, technically everybody works hard. I think it's being at the right time, the right place kind of thing. Because it wasn't really a vision of mine. I didn't, you can dream of getting to playing professionally or what, because at that time, I was more focused on becoming the best me. I just want to play ball and for example, I look up to Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, rest in peace. You want to be them, right? So your goal is man, how do I get there? So the only way for me to get there is playing the hardest. So what happened was, I think it's more towards I started off playing the NCBL and whatever, and then they happened to have Marble Cup, which is another version of how you represent state. And then from there, it kind of moves on to getting an opportunity to play for Agung Cup, right? I didn't make it the first year because they cut me, but that kind of made me want to work harder and train harder, do things just to elevate your game. And then it happened to be one day I played a league, and the league I'm playing, when I was playing, the head coach of Dragons was there. He was there, right? So I was like, wait a minute, I didn't know who he was. And he told me to, hey, you want to go for this? I was like, oh sure, what's that? I didn't know what it was. So I went for it. So yeah, that kind of started the whole thing. Oh yeah, well, even before the Dragon, there's so many things, right? That you move on to team by team, when you're 18, 19 years old, everybody's treating you like gold, right? You always think you're the best. And there's nothing wrong with that, but at the same time, you gotta be humble. So going through that process from being one of the tallest player in your team, and then heading to the Dragons, you're playing against Americans and all of that, you realize you're completely undersized, right? It's kind of a huge shock, but then you to survive, to keep on realizing that you gotta get better. That's the best drive, because you can never be disappointed, in my opinion, right? If you love the game, I don't think that you should feel oh, I want to work my hardest because I want to make the team. Oh, technically you can, but then again, it won't last long. What if you don't make the team, in a way, right? So if you set up a goal, or when you go in there, I'm just gonna give the best that I can give, and if I get it, that's a bonus. That's the thing about me. I realized that very young. I go I don't want to expect much, because my coach kind of taught me that hey, you just come in here, give your best, and then whatever happens, right? So yeah, it's a huge an eye-opener for me to realize oh man, you're trash. You play against NCBL guys. I'm not saying I was great, but I could survive. Now you could barely get a minute, so that kind of made me want to work more, ask more questions. I used to ask a lot of questions, but when I got accepted to the Dragons to just be with them, made me want, because of my good habits of asking questions, made me want to ask more. Right, so I keep on asking, staying close. I'm not, but literally trying to get better. I'm not trying to kiss ass or anything like that. It's just really want to get better. So yeah, that kind of really prepared me. How it started is when I started playing for Dragons in my first year. Because I didn't go to a Chinese school. I didn't even go to I don't have a Filipino coach or an American coach. That was my first time. So I witnessed everything. And then it kind of started by the team called Wolves. We started it, and then me and my cousin started it, and we wanted to make sure that people understand what is pro training like. So that's how it all started. I realized you know what, you guys want to win, alright, let's try and win it, because this is how we train. And we started training, and we started doing all of that. So when I was with the Dragons, they couldn't pay you. Back then market was bad, right? So they offered me, you can still join as a team, as our reserve or practice squad, whatever you want to call it. But then again, we can't pay you as a player, we pay you as a coach, because we have an academy we're trying to build here. So that kind of started the whole pathway for me to play and coach at the same time. It was hard at first though, because I think most people they kind of accept oh, I'm a coach, but I'm a player though. But for me, it goes together, I think. A good player can also be a good coach always be a good player. Same things like that, right? So that's how it began, right? Right? So from there, I studied, I learned, but yeah, I became coach to the day. This whole goal thing to me is normally it keeps on shifting, but it always leads down from one big topic, which is basketball, right? For the love of the game, they call it, right? So for me, for the school, it made me realize like it's a really good opportunity to teach kids about life, right? I've experienced so many, like, guiding them on understanding how big sports can impact in their life, and then of course, like, from the primary aspect to the secondary, like, you know, bringing, for example, if you have a kid who basically like go on off track with their studies, getting distracted, with sports, right, with the right method of coaching and making them interested in sports, you can pull them back to the right pathway. So for me, moving forward, I will want to keep doing that. Like, I think I can make that impact. As much as like you want them to win or, you know, get gold medal, no, at the end of the day, it don't matter. Like, what matters is your journey. Like, how do you change a person's life from basketball alone, right? From being this kid to become a successful doctor, right? You don't, not everybody can be a pro. Like, if you look at NBA, for example, like roughly 400 athletes play in the NBA. This is from the world, right? What are the chances for them to get in there? Who knows, right? They are percentage, whatever. Even if you play currently now in the league, I don't like seeing coaches teaching the kids to, like, you know, diss their players or being cocky and not respectful. I use my opportunity as a coach to teach them manners, discipline, like, you know, love of the game. Yes, we would love to get championships. Yes, we would love to see medals. Of course, you look good and stuff, but for me, it doesn't matter. Like, I've won championships with these guys before. It doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, he's gonna be collecting dust anyway. It's a good thing that, you know, if you win, make sure you win the right way. You don't win because of, you know, whatever way that people are doing. Like, nah, I don't want to mention it, but yeah. So that's my goal for school. But for the, you know, open tournaments and stuff, like adult teams and stuff, like, yeah, I would love to win. I want them to know, like, you know, it takes what it takes to win. But I want them to know as well, like, even if you don't win, it's not the end of the world, man. Like seeing, having good chemistry, passing the ball and cutting, and, like, you know, getting excited to see your teammates. Like, I'm no longer a pro player, right? Dragons is no longer there, and I'm too old for going pro anymore. Like, if people ask me, what do I miss the most? Are my teammates. So far, I want that for my, like, for example, even my players, say I coached this team before, then I left, and then they're still talking with each other. I'm happy, because that's what you want, right? They say basketball is a brotherhood. That's my purpose. Like, I want them to know, like, look, it's team sport. You gotta be together, and in order to achieve that, you gotta, like, really get to know each other, right? So there's so many stories we can tell, but I think that's the main thing you must remember. So that's what I want to do, because I tried winning before. I've won multiple championships before. It doesn't really make me happy per se. What makes me happy is seeing, like, you know, this guy enjoys basketball. No matter where he goes, he plays, and he remembers the things I've taught. Just want to share, like, the other day, I went to Alice Smith, and then they had a tournament. It was a girls' tournament, right? Seaside that we hosted. So, and then when I went, I didn't see. I see a bunch of boys who's, like, basically graduating this year, and they're all going to college here, and I'm very proud of them. But I was surprised they didn't go to Seaside, because the boys' Seaside is supposed to go to Singapore. But then all of them said, all dapped me and said, hello coach, thank you for everything, blah blah blah. And then one kid said, coach, I remember you said this to me, and I've coached that kid for 5 years. He said, I remember when you said this to me, never allow a girl to distract you. But that's huge for me. For him to be an adult, going to be an adult soon, right? Young adult, they call it now, to remember what I said 5 years ago from a coach perspective, that's huge, dude. Like, you know, I don't know what else can, like, replace that. No, I think nothing can.